Hello everybody, my name is Star Raptor and welcome to the channel. I'm super excited for this video because I'm talking about a just announced Star Wars miniatures game coming to us from Atomic Mass Games called Star Wars Shatterpoint. It's a squad-based skirmish combat game, and we're going to get into the details. Everything I gleaned from the YouTube announcement video to the developer interviews, everything from the date to the characters confirmed and more. So make sure you go ahead and subscribe to this channel if you appreciate this content and want to know more about Star Wars Shatterpoint. So let's dive in because this game is coming to us from Atomic Mass Games. If you haven't heard of them before, they are currently developing a very similar, analogous game. Basically, the Marvel version of what this will be is Marvel Crisis Protocol. It uses a little bit bigger models, and they are just squad-based. You know, Captain America teaming up with Iron Man, fighting in a 3-foot by 3-foot space. But then they also are currently working on Star Wars Legion, which originally was at Fantasy Flight Games. They got ported over to Atomic Mass Games, which has the rights to create that. And that's more of a larger scale army-based game where you have squads of characters. You might have, 20, 30 miniatures on a 6-foot by 3-foot spot. And I love that game. I've been playing that game since it came out. I have plenty of content on the channel right now. So Atomic Mass Games is basically the perfect team to put this game together because they have skill with the IP as well as the game format for the most part. So we have the creators talking about, hey, they were inspired by Saturday morning cartoons, like the antics of just jumping into quick battles that are already ongoing. We see all these characters so far from the Clone Wars, which we'll go over each one that we know of so far. But yeah, this is great. They have this like nice type of style. They're stylized where they look like their proportions are a little bit more like animation like you would see from the Clone Wars. So let's just dive right in. First off, characters that we know are in the video and some other things. We have Ahsoka, we have Anakin, we have Obi-Wan, we have Captain Rex, we have Captain Cody, we have Illuminara Unduli, we have Barriss Offee, we have Republic Commandos, we have Bo-Katan, we have Maul from the Shadow Collective, we have General Grievous, we have Dooku, we have Asajj Ventress, we have a tactical droid, we have Magna Guards, we have battle droids, super battle droids, super Mandalorian Commandos, we have regular clone troopers. So that's what we know just from the video so far. Then in the interview, they also said that they have Kit Fisto on the way, they have Mace Windu on the way, and of course, Padme is also coming. So there is a large amount of characters, and what's great about this game is it's more about the heroes, right? So we're just focused on the Clone Wars right now. It's all about the heroes, so you can have those larger sculpts, but you can have those hero versus hero battles. And I played games like that in the past where they had action figures, but these things are going to be printed on card. Like they have different cards that you use. So if you're familiar with Fantasy Flight Games and Atomic Mass Games with Star Wars Legion, X-Wing, Armada, you're going to have those cards. Even Marvel Crisis Protocol uses the cards. What's really cool, a little tidbit, there's going to be localization efforts to have different cards for each supported language in each box. So they're not going to have like expansions where it's like printed in Polish and in German. It's all going to be, I guess, English on the box, and then they have the different cards in your supported language there. But yes, so we don't know a lot about the mechanics. I will say that right now. All I know is that we have the cards. What's also interesting is that there's elevation. Elevation is going to play a big role in this game, jumping up onto walkways and whatnot. And what's great about this game is they've confirmed in that core set, you're going to get some terrain to just play right out of the box. Star Wars Legion had a couple barricades, but I wouldn't really call that terrain. But whereas this, it looks like you actually have a cool little rig from what we've seen in the background of the video of the developers announcing this. So that's definitely a cool change. There's also going to be expansions. It's not just a one core box and that's it. I could see this thing being very successful, especially because if you don't have a lot of space to store these armies, at least you're only going to need a few different people and you can mix and match is what it sounds like. So what you're going to have is you're going to have these thematic squads. So yeah, you're going to have your general things like, oh yeah, Anakin teaming up with Ahsoka. But then he also mentioned you're going to have the ability and the freedom to customize squads. And there's not anything more in depth than that, but that really leads me into some cool speculation, like, hey, maybe you can have Barasafi teaming up with Count Dooku or something. Like Marvel Crisis Protocols, you have different factions, but I'm pretty sure you're not beholden to having only good guys on one side. So I think this is going to open up the door, because in Star Wars Legion, you are beholden to having Republic only troops, right? You can't have Luke Skywalker fighting with Anakin and General Grievous fighting with Darth Vader. You can't really do that in that game. Whereas this seems like the title, right, Shatterpoint, that leads me to believe, first off, that's a great reference to a great Mace Windu novel you guys should read, but Shatterpoint also makes me believe, like, oh, yeah, it's a Shatterpoint in time, like maybe it's like the multiverse, so they're not going to be maybe as beholden to canon. Again, this is my speculation. They haven't said this, but I think that would be the best way to go forward. Also, just little things I've learned. It's really cool. They have in the video you can see battle droids. You could have 3 battle droids on one base. They have not done that in Star Wars Legion. Each person has their own base. So I think they were messing around with that with the recent Marvel Crisis Protocol expansion. So obviously they're taking a lot of experience from that. Let's talk about customizing. There's not a whole lot that we know. You'll need to paint them for sure. They're going to come blank. There is going to be some assembly required, but I'm liking the stylized look of these things. I don't know how much you're going to be able to pose them, if they're going to be just kind of like one size fit all and you just kind of make them just glue together and you don't have a lot of freedom. Of course, if you are a hobbyist, you can always cut different things and position them in other ways you want. That's what's great about these sorts of games. When you're playing Star Wars Legion, you could always do that. There's actually terrain on bases. So for instance, one of the commandos you could see is hiding behind a wall that's included on his base. Or you can have General Grievous, which is basically like leaping off of this rock that's on his base. And, Jango Fett stepping on a piece of wreckage. So they have really cool dynamic poses that also utilize like the terrain that's on the base itself. So that's really cool. Fun fact also, Atomic Mass Games has been working on this game for about 3 years now, which would date it basically before we even knew that Atomic Mass Games was going to take over Star Wars. I'm pretty sure the 3 years would predate that announcement. So that's very interesting to look at the pipeline. We know these miniature games, especially with Star Wars Legion, they're looking at a pipeline of like 1.5 to 2 years. So you hear something announced and it's going to be a while before it actually comes out. It's kind of how it goes. As far as knowing more information about this game, so we are currently in the month of November. January is when pre-orders will open. So January we'll be able to see the full wave. What if it's going to be more than a core? Maybe it'll just be the core. We don't know. But then by March at Adepticon, the world-class miniature hobby convention and all that is when they're going to show us the demos. So that's when we're really going to get a lot of concrete information. I'm sure some stuff will be sprinkled out between now and then, but to actually see it played on stream, I'm hoping that's when we'll get our first look at Star Wars Shatterpoint. So that's all the information that I was able to gather from just the initial release today with what was found on the Atomic Mass website, as well as the YouTube channel and some Twitter comments there. So that's everything we know so far. What are your guys' expectations of this game? What are your guys' reactions? Do you think this is a good thing that Atomic Mass Games also has another Star Wars miniatures game? Or do you think they're spreading themselves too thin? Do you like the fact that it's a Clone Wars centric push right off the gate? I, as a prequel fan, love that they're really pushing the prequels and not just the original trilogy again right off the bat. So there's so much to talk about. I can't wait to talk with you guys in the comment section below about your hype, or maybe not so much hype, for Star Wars Shatterpoint. So that's going to do it for this video. Make sure you go ahead, as I said off the top, subscribe to this channel, and do hit that bell icon to be notified of future Star Wars Shatterpoint videos in the future. That's going to do it for me, Star. So thank you so much for watching, and may the Force be with you always. Thanks for checking out the video. Please hit that thumbs up symbol. It helps me know that I'm making content that you guys enjoy. And if you enjoyed this video, I also include 2 videos down below you guys should check out. And please consider subscribing to this channel. It helps support me and it notifies you guys of when I get new videos up on the channel. You can also contact me on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram at StarRaptor.